low, and it's a really neat day outside. It's a little bit cooler than normal, and we'll give a couple of minutes, or I'll give a couple of minutes for people to get on and to get noticed so that you can start with the information. Because today's topic, hi Elizabeth, how are you? You know, today's topic is really interesting, and I'm always amazed at how the topics come up for me for the Facebook Live broadcast. And hey, Letitia, it's been a long time. I get a lot of the old classmates from Palm Springs High coming on to these, and this is really great. It's nice to connect this way. But the topic today is really interesting because I was thinking about doing something really different than this. Hey, Ray, and for me, it all of a sudden popped into my mind, is what do we do with failure? You know, it seems to be an area that we all deal with, both in our lives, personal, business, relationships, you know, and so how do we deal with it? And what is failure really? And as I thought about it, there's really two types, and I want to break it down. I'm going to give a suggestion here that maybe is a little bit different than what you have found out in the past or thought about in the past. And one type of failure is when something breaks. So maybe it's a bolt, maybe the car breaks, it failed. Hey, Shelley. And you have maybe it's a bridge that comes down or a structure. Something actually physically broke. But there's another type of failure. And this is where it's a little bit different. When we say we failed, particularly in business or maybe in a relationship, could it be that it's really not a, quote, failure, but it is a disappointment? And so the first type of failure is when something physically breaks. The second type is when we have an emotional, mental disappointment in the result that we received. In that tangible, or it could be actually intangible, if it's a relationship. Hey, Linda, how are you today? But we want to really separate these two areas, one that's tangible or one that's physical and one that is mental and emotional. And so really we're going to focus today on the type of failure that I call now disappointment. I was disappointed in the results. And that leads us to a little different reaction to it and allows us to take a different course so that we can get a satisfactory result. We may not be able to get that perfect result, but we can get a satisfactory one. And so as we focus on disappointment, it is not going to feel good. I hate to tell you that, but it's not, because it is a disappointment. It is supposed to not feel good, which I think that's a good grammar. But anyway, but think about the example of Thomas Edison. You know, in the invention of the light bulb, it's always been said that he had 9,999 times that he, quote, failed. And he said, no, I successfully found all of those ways not to do it, that it didn't work. Was it a disappointment? Yes. Was it a frustration? Yes. But I'm going to show you here a system or a process that I've been using. Hey, Greg, happy birthday, dude. That when we look at it in a little different way, I think it's going to allow us to not lose our momentum. And so there is a concept that I'm pretty famous for. In fact, I think I talked about it on the last Facebook Live. Even my license plate on my car really focuses in on that, and that is the concept of no try. And that's do or do not. It's the wisdom of Yoda. So, hey, Mindy, nice to see you here. And so the wisdom of Yoda is do or do not. So along with that, there is only one thing that I believe that we really have control over, and that is our action. And the action, not the result. We want to control the result. But it's the action where we have that choice, that mental decision in what we do from that result or from that stimulus. And so the decision well, let's go to the no-try zone. So no try, I created a schematic. I created a process to illustrate what I mean by no try. So we make a decision to do something. It doesn't matter what it is. We make a decision, we put action to it, and we get a result. And you may want to write this down. We take a decision or make a decision, take action, and get a result. Now, when we get a result that we don't want, that's when we really get into that muck, that icky feeling like we failed, like it wasn't what we wanted, why did it happen? And we can get into a lot of shame and guilt. And in that shame and guilt, it really paralyzes us. It doesn't, we don't want to have that feeling. We don't want to do it again. And really, it's just a new point of decision. So if you look at it as a circle, it goes decision, action, result, and if the result is not what you wanted, then you have a new point of decision. Even if you got a result that you did want, it's still a new point of decision. And you can get and duplicate the positive result that you received. And so what happens is that in the results that we get that are not as positive or that what we would call failure, again, a lot of times that produces that shame or guilt. What is wrong with me? And when we look at the example of Edison, it really was an excitement, and here's the key word, determination, of finding the way that it does work, finding that what I call launch and adjust. And we have no way of knowing all the things that we could or should have the ability to adjust, to change, to get that result that we want. But if we stand still, we're never going to get that result either. And so really it's in that movement, it's in that motion inside of the motivation, but that determination that allows us to take that next step and to risk. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do in the action step today is step out of your comfort zone. Determine something that you're going to step out that you have virtually no control of as far as the result, but you have total control of your action around it. And release it. It might be a product, it may be a webinar, it may be a teleconference, it may be whatever it is, but launch it to the general public, the people that you want to draw into you, the people that you want to connect with. And to be able to, hey, and thanks for joining. And in that launch, you're going to have this feeling of, oh golly, what if it doesn't work? And that's that fear of failure. And so when we start looking at the fear of failure again as the fear of disappointment, then it's not so, oh golly, it's not so dramatic. And we're able to take that next step and to readjust and do it again. But it really comes out of that determination. It comes out of that vision and that process that you're wanting to affect your community in whatever positive way that you are doing it with your product or service. And so in the next 30 days, I really want to encourage you to take that bold step, to go out, find something that you can launch, that you can expose to your community in a good way, but to expose that opportunity to them, and then to allow that response to determine what it is that you're going to do forward from that point. But, you know, again, I use this a lot. It's life is an adventure, enjoy the ride. And so I would love to hear your stories. I would love to hear the results that you're going to be receiving from this. And if you would just embrace that failure is just a disappointment, and in that disappointment is a power of choice as far as the action that we're going to take to the reaction of that stimulus. This is going to allow you to adventure out, to embrace that scary part of the unknown. And you're going to be really surprised maybe at the results that you're going to receive. So a couple of things before we end today. I have been getting a couple of people that have reached out wanting to know if we could do a formal mastermind with a group that's virtual. And I have done that before. I have physical masterminds that I do here in Colorado, but I have been asked to do the virtual ones again. So if you have an interest in maybe exploring what that would look like, would you email me? The email is on the Facebook Live little post there. It's just Gary at GaryBarnesInternational.com. And let me know that you'd have an interest. We could have a conversation offline. But I'm looking at possibly establishing that and launching that in. See, I'm launching too. I'm putting something else out there. I'm doing what I've asked you to do. So I'm thinking about doing that in September. So guys, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much again. You guys have been sharing the videos. The videos have been going all over the place. The responses and the connections, the reconnections that have been happening, the thumbs out, the hearts, you know, I just so appreciate it. And again, the thing that I most value in all of this that we do is the time that we invest with each other. It's my goal, my responsibility to be able to give you the very best that I have to give. So anyway, we'll be back together again at 1 o'clock Mountain Time on Monday, and have a wonderful weekend. Hey, Don, how are you? And I hope you're feeling better. And so with that, have a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday, 1 o'clock Mountain Time. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.